If you looked at the Mi Mix 3 and thought that was cool, well, the Honor Magic 2 is here and it's gonna absolutely blow your mind. It takes the same design cues as the Mix 3, so we have the sliding mechanism, but then it turns it up a notch by adding more cameras, an in-display fingerprint scanner, and a whole lot more into the mix. Okay, lame puns all over the place. But hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and here's everything you need to know about the new Honor Magic 2. If you do end up liking this video, please don't forget to turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Magic lineup, I'm not gonna blame you. The first Magic was a China exclusive that only really got shown off at CES 2017, or was it 2018? Anyway, it had an exquisite design with curved glass to the front, and it was one of Honor's first phones to dabble with AI. Basically, the Magic lineup for Honor is kinda like what the Mixes are for Xiaomi, experimental phones with crazy new designs and features, and they have delivered with the Magic 2. Anyway, history lesson done, let's dive right in. The Magic 2 sports the gradient glass back that we've seen with Huawei phones and even the Honor 10. In fact, the entire rear design kind of reminds me of the P20 Pro. The triple camera placement is very similar. I guess the centrally placed camera cluster is gonna remain with the Mate 20 at least this year. Anyway, as beautiful as the back is, the magic in the Magic 2 is mostly to the front. Here you have the sliding mechanism. Push the screen down and you can see not one, not two, but three front-facing cameras. We have a primary 16 megapixel sensor along with two other cameras, both of which are 2 megapixels. So why these many cameras, you ask? Well, Honor seems to have implemented their own version of 3D face unlock in here, so I suppose that's what all those extra optics are for. Now, coming back to the slider, it also hides a tiny slit for the in-call speaker. Of course, the main benefit of having the sliding mechanism is that the AMOLED panel below gets to have these really thin bezels for the best full screen experience, a very high screen to body ratio, no notches here. Although we do have a tiny bottom chin, the panel itself comes in at 6.39 inches, sporting a Full HD Plus resolution and looking really good. Honor claims that they have managed over 90% screen to body ratio. Incidentally, this seems to be a number that every phone maker tries to throw into the conversation. Like, honestly, do you guys really care about the exact screen to body ratio numbers? Here's a poll, let me know. I mean, personally, I just like how it looks, not the exact numbers. But anyway, coming back, let's talk about something we all do definitely, unarguably care about, a fingerprint scanner. This kind of seems to be one of those things about the Mi Mix 3 that people didn't really like, the rear-mounted fingerprint scanner. But with the Magic 2, there's no disappointment. We've got an in-display fingerprint scanner here, and if our recent experience with the Mate 20 Pro is, anything to go by, this fingerprint scanner should be great. There's another thing the Magic 2 shares with the Mate 20 Pro, the internals. Yep, we have the same Kirin 980 chip inside this one, which should translate to some really beastly performance. This is the first 7nm chip on the Android side of things at least, and Honor is offering it with 6 or 8 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage respectively. I'm glad that Honor has decided to go with a base 128 variant since the Magic 2 omits microSD. The headphone jack is also missing, although Honor does include a Type-C to 3.5mm dongle inside the box. Speaking of Type-C, yay, there's support for 40 watt supercharge, so that's something that's on the Mate series that's kinda trickled down here. Like I said, when we were talking about the Mate 20 Pro, more than what excites me about the Mate series, the Huawei phones, it's the fact that what's gonna trickle down to the Honor series, and hey, this one has. The battery capacity itself is 3500 mAh, which isn't too shabby. Moving on to software, the official website says it should be running Magic UI 2.0, which I would assume is some skinned version of MUI. Well, that seems to be what every brand's doing, right? Because most units Huawei showed off at launch yesterday seem to be running on MUI 9.0, which is based on Android 9 Pie. Xiaomi also does something similar with their OS, on their spin-off brands Poco and Black Shark. So I guess Honor might be moving in the same direction. Anyway, we will revisit the software part once I actually get my hands on a Magic 2. Now onto the cameras. Now, to the back, we have a triple camera setup that is again quite reminiscent of the one that we had on the P20 Pro. There's a 16 megapixel primary camera with the f1.8 aperture lens, a 24 megapixel monochrome sensor with the same f1.8 aperture lens, and finally a wide angle 16 megapixel unit with a f2.2 aperture lens. As far as features go, we have the same AI-enabled functionality that debuted last year on the P20 Pro, including a pretty amazing night mode and hybrid zoom. On paper, these seem to be some pretty impressive specs, so I can't wait to test these cameras out. Now, while I would have loved to see, anybody would have loved to see the Mate 20 Pro's optics here, usually the Honor flagship gets hardware similar to the last generation Huawei flagship. It's gonna have the same internals, the same chips, but the camera that's gonna be from the last gen Huawei flagship without the Leica branding. So, even if this ends up being close to the P20 Pro with regards to performance, it's still going to be amazing, right? The P20 Pro still leads DxOMark ratings if you do care about things like that, at least till the Mate 20 Pro gets benchmarked. Anyway, that about wraps up this video, the Honor Magic 2. The only thing left on the table now is the pricing. Well, the base 6 128 variant is available now for pre-order in China, and it starts from 3799 yuan. That converts to about 40,000 Indian rupees or $550 US. Of course, the price appears a little inflated for India, at least, given that the Indian rupee has been having a tough time recently. But even if this ever manages to make its way out of China, I wouldn't be surprised if the Magic 2 is priced similar to the OnePlus 6T, that is around 38,000 rupees. Honestly, that's a pretty fair price for a device that is, for all intents and purposes, a flagship, save maybe for water and dust resistance. Honor does include IPX2 certification on the official site, so I guess you do get some splash protection. Anyway, I think the Magic 2 is an interesting device with a bold design choice, and I would love to see it come to India. If Honor does price it sensibly, it might be a legitimate competitor to the OnePlus 6T and maybe even the Mi Mix 3 if and when that ends up coming to India. So what do you guys think? Would you be interested in the Honor Magic 2? Should I import this? Tell me in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. It is time I bid you adieu. Please share it with the friends and family if you can. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on what you felt about it. Also subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of my daily content. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.